Lab number 53. In this lab, we continue our lab series and we focus on Linux installation of our mobile-first platform. And now it's time to set up the application server. So basically, we will again need to open terminal and to connect to our Ubuntu server that should be running nearby. If you not have it running, just start up this virtual machine. So basically, I will just need to connect again back to SSH server. Again, remember that you're using your own IP address, not mine. And basically now, as you remember, we already unpacked the installation manager in previous lab, and now we need to actually install the installation manager that is required to install the application server. Because the application server, the distributive that you're able to download and that you downloaded already and unpacked, is basically a repository that can be imported inside installation manager. It cannot be set up separately. So installation manager has two options. Option one is to run it just directly from this folder. You can navigate to actually a folder called tools and launch the installation manager from it. The second option, which is better, you can install it on this machine, I mean on Ubuntu server. So the second option is better because in this case, installation manager will be set up on this machine, and next time you will be doing the, for example, fix installation or some upgrades, it will already have your config and it will be separate setup that will always be maintained and so on. So basically we will do it, and we will do it using the command running under sudo, and the command is install c. Then you need to provide the password, and then you will get an error. This is happening by default because you need to accept the license. The way how to accept the license is to specify the flag minus accept license, just like that. And now actually nothing else is needed from you. The setup will happen automatically and you will get it installed by default under opt IBM and then installation manager. So you see the right path, and let's navigate to it. Opt IBM and then basically installation manager and Eclipse folder underneath. So inside Eclipse folder we have the thing called IBM IM that you need to start again under sudo. So IBM IM, and it will launch the installation manager, and you will have actually it running in a graphical mode because, as you remember, we set up the X server and we have the X11 session. So basically, before we will be able to install anything, we need to add repositories. So let's go to preferences and add new repository. In our case, as you remember, we unpacked everything to the home folder of our user. It's IBM user. And the first thing that we will add is the application server. So the file that we need to add is the repository config. Just select this file and click OK. And the second thing that we will also add is the repository for our mobile-first platform installation. So inside mfp folder, select the folder mobile-first platform server, disk 1, and then disk tag. Click OK. Then just click apply and OK. So now when you will click install, you will be able to see both the application server and the platform. So for now, we will only install the application server Liberty Core. That's common as the part of the license that you bought for mobile-first platform or that you get from IBM S3L for doing these labs. Anyway, so select the application server, click next, agree with the license. So shared resources location by default is IBM M shared. It's okay, don't need to change it. The same for default location of the application server. So opt IBM WebSphere Liberty is good enough, so just click next. Again, click next. There is no need to install additional assets for now. Basically, if you will be running it in production, you will most probably also download in the supplementals packages from where you will install the HTTP server, that can be configured to run as reverse proxy and so on. But for now, again, we are simplifying things. In order to make it fast and easy, we don't need to install anything else. Just click Next and then click Install. So basically that's it. Your server is installed, but you don't have any instances. So now we will exit from our installation manager, and we will need to set up additional instances for our server. So if you're familiar with the full profile of application server, like network deployment or base installation of WebSphere application server, instances is like profiles in previous terms. So you need to go to the location of application server. I will use the command cd actually back to IBM folder, and from there to WebSphere Liberty, and then you need to locate the folder bin and get inside. So inside the folder bin, under sudo, you can create new instances using the server create and then the name of the instance. So let's start with something called mfp. This one will be default for our MobileFirst platform, so meaning console and admin services also, and we will also host here the application center because this is the default option. This is not the best idea. In general, I would recommend to set up the application center from where you can install apps to mobile devices somewhere separately on top of a totally separate server. But in our example, again, to simplify, we will install it on MFP server. And then we will have the separate server instance, let's call it analytics, for analytics. Basically, this is understandable. Then I will run the thing called MC under sudo user. This looking like the far editor for those who are familiar with Windows tool. Basically, this will allow you either navigation, but this will also allow one of the easiest options to edit files. I won't be doing the hard things with you by running the VI or Vim and so on. We will be trying to edit files as simple as possible for end users and those who came for these labs from Windows. So the idea is that we need to navigate to the folder called user. It's under opt IBM WebSphere Liberty, and then inside the servers folder, then we have names of our servers, so MFP and analytics. And we will need to edit the XML file. The editing happening by pressing F4. So if you're running on Mac, don't forget to type Fn, so the special key, and then F4. If you're running on Windows or Linux, it will be okay just to press F4. And then you will need to select the editor that you will use for editing these files. So despite it says the nano is the easiest, I would recommend selecting option 3. This is the editor that came together with MC, and basically you will need to do the following. You will need to navigate to the HTTP endpoint, and after HTTPS port you will need to add host equal to star. So this will mean that our server will be able to be launched on any IP. Then press F10 and select yes to save this file before closing. This is for a server instance MFP. And for analytics, we also need to change the server XML, because by default the HTTP endpoint actually points us to the same port, so it will conflict with each other. And let's select 9081 and 9444, for example, for HTTPS, and also select the add the host to star. That's it. Press F10. Save this. You can exit now from MC. You can do it with F10. And basically what you need to do now is, again, using the sudo command, say server, then start, and then name of the server. Let's start with MFP. and the same for analytics. So you see our both instances started up, and we need to check that. So because we have shared internet access and the net with our host machine, I mean between our host machine and Ubuntu server, so what we can do is just to open the web browser on our host machine and type the IP address. In my case is this one with the port 9080, so this one is MFP instance, as you can see it's running, and the second one is 9081. This one is analytics and it's also running. So make sure you have the same behavior, of course, most probably with different IP address, but I mean that you see this welcome screen, welcome page. Otherwise, check your configuration that you just did. I mean, check how you added the XML file, because it should be able to run. And basically that's it. Now I can press Ctrl D to exit from my SSH connection, and basically that's it. We don't need to do anything else in this lab number 5.3. We set up the application server, and everything else, I mean the platform installation itself, will be going on in further labs. Thank you.